Alrighty, joined now here at the Drive-On Championship here at Bradenton Country Club by Leona Maguire. Leona got to shake the rust a little bit off last week at Hilton, but just what's it like to be, getting ready for the first full field event of the 2024 season?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to sort of start at Nona last week and, like you said, get the sort of dust the cobwebs off and get back into competitive things again. And looking forward to another week in Florida. Hopefully the weather's a little bit warmer this week, and nice to catch up with everybody again after a break. It doesn't seem that long ago since we finished up in Tiburon. It's been probably the shortest off season I've ever had. It's been a pretty quick turnaround, but nice to sort of keep things rolling and build off the momentum for last week.
And then, speaking of the break, how'd you spend it? Did you work on some golf, see some family? What'd you do?
I went home for 3 weeks, which was pretty nice. About as long as I get at home, so nice to catch up with everybody. And I suppose Christmas is one of those nice times where everybody's at home, everybody's off work, and good food, good people, and sort of recharge the batteries a little bit.
Absolutely. Obviously different course, but you won this event in 2022 in Florida. So what is it about this event maybe that kind of brings out your game, and what do you kind of remember about that win? Yeah,
I mean, Fort Myers not too far away from here. This golf course is a little bit different, but also some similarities. I think it's obviously a Don Ross design. It's been pretty clear from the get-go this week that hitting greens is going to be really a paramount this week. Chipping is very tricky with the dormant per around the greens and things like that. So it's going to be windy, I think, a little bit gusty, a lot like the conditions in Fort Myers actually at Crown Connolly. So managed it pretty well 2 years ago. So hopefully I can sort of emulate that again.
Yeah, Beth Ann?
Hello. Did you and your coach kind of dive into stats at all at the end of the year? Did he come to Florida and spend some time with you?
I mean, stats are something I think we sort of checking in with all the time. I think with the fantastic thing with the new KPMG stats is that you can compare yourself to the average and the best in the field, but also to yourself as well. And I think it's a lot of the time it's seeing what made the difference on the weeks that you did well versus the weeks that maybe you finished 20th or 30th. So my driving actually stats were a lot better last year. Proximity to the hole wasn't quite as good as it needed to be, so need to sort of tighten that up a little bit. And I mean, for me, the weeks that I put the best are usually the weeks that I do well. So it was pretty evident from like Ballstrahl and Meyer and those weeks what made everything go well. So it's just a case of, I know what to do, it's just a case of doing it more often.
And have you thought about how to bottle up what you feel at the Solheim Cup and put it in a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, I mean, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I've got asked this a lot. I think if I knew the answer, I'd do it every week. I think Solheim's just a special week. I think with match play, I love match play, I love team golf. There's something about the Solheim Cup that brings something out in everybody, but I think you're a little bit more aggressive maybe in the Solheim. I mean, match play, you can kind of go for things. It doesn't really matter if you miss that putt or one hole's one hole. So it's a little bit of a different mentality, but yeah, I mean, if I can tap into that a little bit more this year, it'd be pretty nice.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So you're talking about the ability to read these greens being so important. How much do you rely on your caddy for that?
For reading greens? Mm-hmm. No, Dermot doesn't read my putts.
At all?
At all.
Just so is this an aim point mostly?
Yeah, mostly aim, but I mean, these greens are pretty grainy. It's pretty clear out there where the grain is. There's a lot of color change and stuff like that, so it's different going from Nona, obviously, with the overseed last week to here. The greens are very slick. I mean, if you get above the pin this week, it's going to be really tricky. There's going to be no guaranteed 2 putts unless you're below the hole this week. So lots of break, lots of speed. So putting and chipping, you can make your dive very difficult or very easy depending on where you hit it into these greens.
And if I could just ask one more, since it's a Solheim Cup year, could you take us back to what it was like after the win, the tie that really was a win? What the celebration was like that night, and how much it kind of carried on that feeling through the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an incredible amount of adrenaline after Solheim. It's such a high, and it's funny, like in the couple of days the week of, I never felt tired. I felt like I could have played 5 more rounds, and you're just so excited to be there. You're feeding off the energy of the crowd with your teammates. It's such a fun week, and celebrations after, and I suppose obviously with everything being so dramatic and how it finished, and Carlotta and the King of Spain being there, and everything. It was I mean, the whole team. It was nice to celebrate with everybody, and I think that's what makes Solheim unique. Is a lot of the time when you win, you're on to the next event, and you're there with your caddy, and you most of the time celebrate by yourself. Everybody's gone, apart from a few people that maybe hang around to spray you with water or whatever it is at the back of the 18th. Whereas Solheim is, you're there with your 12 teammates, the caddies, all the backroom team, friends, family. So it's a lot bigger celebration, which is nice. And I think that's one of those things in sport, I suppose. You spend so long chasing wins and chasing all this, you don't actually sometimes get to enjoy it as much as it's always on to the next one, on to the next one. So I think the nice thing I've found with Solheim is you actually take a little bit more time to enjoy it. And then it is weird going. I remember going back to Arkansas the next week, and you hit a shot and you're waiting for the crowd to cheer and roar, and it just doesn't happen. There's only a few people behind the green, so it's definitely a little bit of a come down. It's a little bit flat the weeks after, and you're trying to get yourself going again. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to be a part of.
My last one, since it's an Olympic year, in your mind, how do you see the Olympics in terms of how big they are and what they mean to golf? How much has that grown, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been fantastic for golf to be a part of it. I think a lot of people tune into golf in the Olympics that wouldn't normally watch golf. I mean, it's the biggest sporting event in the world. I know different people debate whether it should be pro or amateur or things like that, but I mean, it's a huge honor to represent your country, and there's no bigger stage than the Olympic Games. And myself and Stephanie Meadow have represented Ireland these past 2 times. We've been chatting about it. Rio was a little bit not quite a full experience of the games with Zika and everything that was going on. Tokyo was obviously a very different game, so it feels like Paris will almost be our full experience of an Olympic Games. And it's obviously in Europe this year, so hopefully a few more friends and family can go. And Le Golf National is obviously an iconic venue from the Ryder Cup and all of that, so it's something that's definitely circled on the calendar, and really looking forward to it. And I just love the camaraderie with the other athletes as well. I think being from Ireland, it's one of those smaller teams. Everybody knows each other. You're cheering for everybody. We typically don't win that very many medals, so when someone does win a medal, there's a lot of excitement. Everybody comes back, and you sort of celebrate with everybody. So there's a nice sense of team spirit that week that you don't normally get. So it's a fun week.
Jason, you got anything? Cool. Just one last one for me. Obviously, capture your second win. Beth Ann alluded to great Solheim Cup. Just kind of how would you surmise your 2023 season, and how much of that will you take away as you head into 2024? What are some goals you have for this season?
Yeah, I think just more consistency. I think getting myself into contention more often. I think the good stuff was really good, and just trying to do that more often, especially in the majors and week in, week out. So if I can kind of bottle that for a bit more, obviously it's going to be a huge summer, a really busy summer with 4 majors, Olympics, Solheim packed quite into a short amount of time. So I think everybody's going to be trying to peak at that point. So just making sure everything's ready to go by the time those summer months roll around, and put myself in contention as much as I can leading up to that.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much.